All right, welcome back. Doc D in the Dungeon. It is Monday, July 8th, 2019. Took most of the week off last week to do projects around the house. I didn't take any videos of it, though I did some pretty interesting things. But going to be doing a lot more shooting there at the house as well as here in the dungeon. So going to start, this is going to be what I call the weekly SOS, or the weekly state of the shop, where I give updates about the general progress of how things go, what I'm planning to do in the future, and also solicit comments from you. What are some things that you would like to see? So I'm also going to be introducing a new playlist of called My Toolbox, and so I picked up a Kennedy roll around tool chest along with the top box over the weekend, actually over the week, and also picked up some other things. And so I just thought I would show the items that I pick up in my travels. I do auctions, yard sales, flea markets, whatever you name it, I am there. It's one of the things that I love to do, is to go out and find values. Some of the stuff I resell, some of the stuff I'll repurpose, and then I'm always about trading up. I did pick up a real nice Buffalo 6-inch vise over the weekend for cheap. I did put that up for sale and make a little money off of that. So anyhow, I bought a new microphone, so the sound quality should be better on this. Also reviewing some of my videos. I'm terrible about putting my glasses on, and the last video I looked at, my glasses were all cocked to the side. I guess if you can't laugh at yourself, you got issues. Well, I got issues, but I can still laugh at myself. Anyhow, I'm going to lead into another project this morning. I have some BT40 tooling for my Laguna-matic CNC mills, and I also have BT40 tooling, actually BT40 tooling for the Laguna-matics, and BT40 for the Brown & Sharp No. 2 universal mill. And so I'm going to go ahead and set up. I already did one of these a few months ago, and I need another tool holder, and so just do a real quick blurb on that, show you what they look like. I use DraftSight as my 2D platform to create laser cutting, and then the Epilogue 60-watt laser is what I use to cut those out. So I'll go ahead and do those on the state of the shop. It's not anything really exciting, but I've done tool holders for my Morse taper drill bits, from MT1s up to MT3s, and you can do just whatever you want to with them, and I've really been happy with how they turned out. So anyhow, more to follow here in just a moment. Okay, so get that out of the way. Like I said, I use DraftSight through Dassault Systems, same people who created, who own SolidWorks. I don't know that they created it. I like DraftSight. It's probably the program that I use the most. It's fairly intuitive, and the thing that I like the most about DraftSight, again, this is a 2D program, is that it will take command line inputs, which I love. That's how I learned. I learned back in 1989. Was when I first was exposed to computer-aided design CAD programs, and that was AutoCAD, I think, release 10. And so that was pretty much all command line driven, and so that's how I think. And so this, it does have a graphic menu for people, but I think, when I think line, and I type line, and that's just how I think. That's how I process information, because that's how I learn. And that's one of the things that I really love about this program. You know, for example, it also takes commands from several different platforms, and it will convert that into what you really want to do. So an example would be an array, and I can just let me load up my let me draw up my template here. So let's see, circle, and I'm just going to put it there, whatever. So I'm going to select that. All right, so this command in DraftSight is called pattern, but it also recognizes the array command. All right, and so here we go. I'm going to type array. Oh, and it says, oh, did you mean pattern? And yeah, I did. Okay, so linear, yeah, form 4, 1 inch spacing, yeah, it sounds good. All right, so select entities. Oops, maybe. So we want to do a linear array. I've already got my entity selected, so it says, okay, do this. All right, and there it is. So it's really that easy. I love being able to type on the command line. That's just what I do. That's how I think, because that's what I learned. So anyhow, here we are. I'm going to try to find where I saved this last time, because I don't remember. Probably would have saved it under personal. Reamer holder, no. Tool holders. Hey, how about that? All right, Cat 40 tool holder top. Open. There we go. There it is. All right. So you see this green templated area. All that is a reference for me to this green templated area right here is a reference. This is the cutting area of my laser cutter, and so let's get you a little closer to that. How about that? Yeah. So this green templated area right here, that is the cutting area of my laser cutter. So the way that I've got this set up is that I can engrave, I can cut, and I can do construction lines. And so when I set up this template, I use red and I set up my line types correctly so that if it's on the cut layer, the line thickness is 0. Engrave, it's 0.2 millimeters or larger. And then construction is white, and those just allows me to develop my geometry of my part. And so very, very useful. And again, this is probably one of the more user-friendly CAD programs that are out there. It does have a few quirks, but I've been really happy with it over the last couple of years. So that's on a construction layer, on a vector cut layer. Let's say that I wanted to turn that into an engrave. Maybe I can find my engrave. There it is. And so now all of a sudden it's green. All right. So just a real bit, and this is the same template that I give out to my students. And then when they submit files to be cut, it gives me a real quick sanity check that I can visually see what it is that they're trying to do. All right. Let me undo that. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this. This is the top. And so select print. And print configuration, laser 2018, make sure that my properties are good, and they're not. Autofocus, machine must have reset over the weekend. power 100, and then speed usually 30 and 50 combined. All right, and the way this is set up, I usually have it on autofocus, and then I can do either raster, or I can do vector, or I can do combine. On most things, I leave it as combined. It will do all raster cuts first, and then it will do vector cutting. There are times though that, for instance, I did a real nice display piece for another department here on campus out of some very expensive acrylic, and so with that I left the protective cutting on, and then I laser cut the vector cut, so I cut out the main pieces, then I peeled off the protective film, and then I raster cut the Taylor logo and all that good stuff for it. And so once you learn your machine and how it works and what it can do, you can change things up to do exactly what it is that you want. All right, and so this is one of the quirks. So I press OK because it changed the properties, and then poof, it loses the configuration. It just is what it is. When I first started using this, it drove me crazy. I go back in and check. Now, as long as I don't hit OK, I don't lose anything. If I just exit out of it, it's good. And then I'm going to press OK, and it's now going to send that job to the laser cutter. So let's go take a look at a laser cutter. Okay, so here we are, Epilogue laser. This is a 60 watt. The material that I cut is this real inexpensive stuff. It's designed for floor underlayment, and it's called Luan, L-U-A-N. Lowe's sells it. It's about $15 for a 4x8 sheet. I have them cut it in with their rip saw at 18 by 24. And so then I use that here in a laser cutter. So we'll go ahead and turn that on. Alright, so I got air, and turn on my evacuator. Not sure how the directional mic is going to go with that. And so I have it set on autofocus, so it's going to come down. Activate the plunger. problems with using the Luan is that you don't always get a full clean cut through. It's usually not terrible, but you get spots like that don't cut all the way. I could just recut a second time, catch them all, but for something like this, it's not really the right plan. Alright. Okay, here we get ready to start on the bottom. Again, same material, Luan. It's have the same outer profile, but all it's going to have is a small through holes so that I can screw these two tabs together. So here we go. Never gets bored watching this thing go. It's kind of mesmerizing. I don't know what the heck is trying to cut. Apparently I got something hidden. I went a little overboard with the support holes. I'll probably only use half, maybe not even half. Because the supports are kind of a pain thing. BT40 Tooling is heavy, but all this does is sit on the shelf and keeps them from banging around on each other, and keeps them so that you can see them and select what you want. The laser tube heats up, and when it heats up, it doesn't cut as well. So I let it cool off nice and long before I did this second cut. And you can see that the pieces are just dropping out as it's going. We're probably going to have to replace the tube in this year, maybe early next year at the latest. It's going to be probably 12, 15 years long. Again, I could simply cut it a second time, and I'll actually do that. It's really important in all this. But for these, again, all these access holes, through holes, screws, So I just set up these, set up a stop, and then go through and I cut whatever I need, and then so that gives me a nice consistent cut on these, and these are the offsets that go in between the two halves. Okay, so this is the most tedious part of this whole thing, and I don't have this is not a real good, I don't have a good way to get a shot of this. I'm going to try with a GoPro to see if I can capture it, but there's no display on the actual GoPro, so I'm not sure that I'll actually shoot what I want to shoot. So what I've done is I've chucked up the little dowel in the lathe, and then I've got a number 37 drill bits, 102 thousandths. And I'm going to I'm not going to through drill. These are a little, not quite 3 inches, and so I won't be able to through drill it. But what I'm trying to do is just basically make a pilot hole for my drywall screws. That's what I use to secure it, to actually start in and not split the dowel. Unfortunately, I'm not going to actually center drill it because wood is so difficult to do with this. I mean, it's not difficult, it's hard to get it to go without it going sideways. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, we're really constrained on room here. It is what it is. So I got my speed set at 460. And like I said, I got that thing. I've got it chucked up really close And I'm just going to kind of ease it into the stock. And you can see it already starting to wiggle as it goes out around. Wood is terrible for this. If this were aluminum, and I've actually done a couple of these that I had aluminum, and you know, with those I actually center drilled it. You know, we're fine. So there's one side. Let's back it up, and then I'll flip it around. And I think I'm going to do 14 of these. So, you know, there's a lot. This is very tedious, very, very tedious. But, you know, that's what it takes to get it done. And without this, you know, you're trying to drill a whole quasi-center in this. So here we go. And again, once I get up close, I'm just going to very, very lightly ease into the work. Yeah, that's cracking pretty good. Unlike most of the time. I've had some that are, you know, really wobbling badly. I just bring it up. Like I said, I got about an inch of bend feet there. So now I just got to do that 14 more times. All right, here we go. We just did the last one. And go ahead and clean everything up. Whenever I'm done with a specific operation on a machine, I typically put all my tools back up, clean it up. I use a shop vac extensively for this kind of stuff because it's just simple and easy. Chip brush, put stuff off the saddle. Clean all the sawdust out of that. It's really not good to cut wood on a metal lathe, but I just don't have anything that's better. But it works, obviously. I'm going to grab my shop vac. Grab the noise. Quick and easy. That's how it's done. So yeah, that's one of my personal pet peeves, is that when you're done with a machine, take a few minutes, clean it, put your tools up, and put them back where they belong, and that way they're there ready to go when you need them. All right, we'll put this thing together now. All right, here we go. Final operation here to put all this stuff together. So we have the top, we have the bottom, we have our standoffs, and then 1.25 drywall screws, and then I'm just going to zip those in real quick. What I found is it's easier just to go ahead and do one side as opposed to another. So I just kind of start it and zip it in. And the way that I've got this done, let's get it up here nice and close, is that the hole is just big enough that the head of the screw will sink in a little bit so that it doesn't stand proud, so it's nice and flush. It took a little bit of playing to get that just right. Here we go. Back in a moment. It looks like I'm just going to use 12 to tie this up. I don't know, like I said, I think I went overkill last time. I'm going to try that. If worst comes to worst, I can do some more supports. But as you can see, it was really tedious to center drill all of those twice for each one. So trying to cut that down a little bit. And then in order to put it all back together, I just set these on top. And I'll line up the very first one. And then zip them all in. Yeah, nice flush finish. All right, back in a few. I got most of these in. Just got looks like 4 more to go. I don't know. I think it'll be fine. So anyhow, with these holes set the way they are, even if the holes in the standoffs are a little bit out of round, it centers everything up nicely. And this was one of my better ideas. Like I said, I did these very same things for Morse taper tooling as well, and been really happy with them so far. You can see that once you get this set up, I mean, it just goes really quickly. And there we go. And my Cat 40 or my BT40 will fit right in there, and I think that's plenty of support. But we'll try it out when I get home. Thank you.